Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 360 Sports Show. We are coming to you live through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Thank you for finding us here on a Monday night, a little later than normal, but we are here nonetheless, bringing you all the biggest stories from the past week in sports. You can reach us anytime in any of the comment sections of the live streams or by emailing the 360 Sports Show at gmail.com. I'm Ada Pizzella, he's Christian Lauber, and we are going to jump right on into it. And Christian, it feels like an eon ago, but the last time we were on air, we were prepping for March Madness championship game, which now feels like a bajillion years ago. So let's start by recapping and reacting to that game. A tale of two halves. UNC looking like they're ready to take it. They're going to run away. Kansas saying not so fast and storming back in the second half. Your reaction to Kansas winning the national title?
Yeah, well, I said I thought Kansas would win, and if it was going to be a blowout, it would be one way, and that would be Kansas blowing out UNC. And in the first half, I was like, well, I could probably turn this off. But no, here in the second half, I mean, you just kind of told the story. I mean, it's just two different halves. I mean, it's basically two different games. UNC blows doors in the first half, and then Kansas comes clawing right back in the second half. And ultimately win. I mean, it was a close game. I thought it was going to be close. Two pretty evenly matched teams when it came right down to it. But Kansas, like I predicted, was a little bit better.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's more about Kansas's comeback as it is things that I kind of wasn't expecting out of UNC in that second half. They looked like in the first half, it was no fluke. UNC was taking it. They were moving the ball, multiple efforts, the defensive effort. It was all there. And I think they felt they had it, and they did at that point. It's one of the largest comebacks in championship game history.
Yeah.
But Kansas never got that 1,000-yard stare that told you they were gonna give up and pack it in. They looked frustrated for sure, but that's because UNC was taking it to them.
Yeah. And
so the second half starts, and you're expecting, okay, here comes the punch from Kansas. It's gonna be coming, and it came. And it's like UNC just kept thinking, okay, if we just go down and make a shot and push it back to 13, these guys will pack it in. It's like, no. This is the championship game. This team is not just going to there's nothing that's going to happen in the second half that's going to make them just wilt and say, oh, that's it. It's a 10-point game. Wah, we're going to give up. No, they're going to keep coming at you. And it wasn't until UNC went down 6 later in that second half that it felt like their intensity finally picked up. It was like, oh my God, we're going to blow this. We have blown it. So their start to the second half was really unfortunate. Because as much as UNC was taking it in the first half, Kansas went out and took it in the second half. They went to another level, and it took way too long for UNC to respond. A lot of hero ball. Caleb Love did not love his play down the stretch. Nice. Hey, it was great. You hit a crazy 3-pointer versus Duke. He tried to replicate that moment again when you really should have just gone for the best play. Ends up being another hero shot for him. I know Manick fell down on their last possession. But even still, Kansas should have just won that handily. Instead, a guy gets the inbounds and is like, instead of just getting fouled, let me try and scoot the baseline and step out of bounds. So more frantic finishes. But that's what's more disappointing for me is like that second half from UNC. I'm not surprised that Kansas came out and did what they did. A lot of credit, though, to Armando Bacot, because that dude was hobbled and fought through that game. And still, I think if he doesn't tweak that ankle again, you knew the final possession for Kansas, essentially the final possession, they were going to go to their big man, McCormick, inside on Manek. Great player, Manek, not able to guard a true center. True, and it was like, here we go. Post him up. It was going to be 1, 2, 3, beep, beep, back it in, hook shot, championship. So a lot of little things, very bad for UNC in the second half. I mean, we talked about like Providence having one of the worst halves in basketball in the first half of a game. At least they came back and made a fight in the second half. This is like the whole thing in reverse. You played a great first half and then just totally went away in the second. Yeah. Statistically, it's not as bad, but blowing a 15-point lead in the second half of a championship game, I think that's worse.
Yeah, I mean, typically with leads in sports, especially like, the four major I'm talking about, but typically with leads like that, it's a two-sided story. Obviously, one side is obviously elevated their play, and the other side is kind of come back to earth or come back, to kind of like the middle, or even in the negatives there. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Atlanta, Patriots, Super Bowl, things like that. So it's never just like, oh, one team's just way better than the other. Obviously, if you're down that much, you're not. But it could be closer than the score indicated. I think that was true for this championship game, but also UNC. I still want to give credit to Kansas. You don't come back from 15 points just because UNC started to stink or whatever. But UNC also kind of fell back a little bit and kind of let off the gas. And the minute you do that, it's tied. Or here they come on a 15-1 run, whatever it might be.
Yeah, it was essentially something like that. It was like a 21-5 run, something.
Yeah.
Bananas. But in the end, Kansas earned it. They earned it. That's why they play two halves. So
no Kansas, shirt this week, huh? No UNC shirt this week.
No UNC shirt. It's dirty. It's in the wash.
Or the fire. We don't know.
Or the fire. Yeah. It is cleansed. One way or another, it has been cleansed.
There you go. Yeah.
So Kansas is the champions of the March Madness tournament. So, basketball, ball locker for them. In a good way. Great tournament. And now we wait
365.
We wait 365
days.
Yesterday, in a not as dramatic experience,
also,
the Masters concluded. And we'll talk about what I think the more exciting parts of the Masters had nothing to do with who won. So Scottie Scheffler wins. He shoots a -1 on the last day. Finishes -10 overall. Rory McIlroy shoots 8 under on Sunday yesterday. An insane round for him. Not enough because Scheffler was so far ahead. And for a guy who had not had some sort of epic blow-up collapse at any point during the 4 days, let alone the 4 months preceding the Masters, expecting him to suddenly just have a Sergio Garcia moment and be chucking the club into the water, I didn't think it was going to happen. So I really didn't expect Scheffler to
except
blow
for hole 18.
Except the shine of winning the Masters is, even though it wasn't dramatic, you'd say, hey, it's a great moment. A guy with you 4-putt the last hole. It doesn't matter. You won. You played a great 4 days. But when you literally look like me or you out there trying to finish off that last hole, oh my god, it takes away. It takes away from the
Especially you're
moment.
like you're shot 3 in, and then here come the crowd, and that's what gives you the oomph to make it. Like, what are we doing?
Like, well, he's above the hole on the 18th green, so he's got okay. This is for birdie. Bling, shoots it past the hole. Okay, whatever. And now it's gone and it's down and off the green again. Okay, let's play her back up. Miss that. All right, I got a 2-foot putt for bogey here. Boop, short.
Yep.
At that point, Rory's probably going like, "Oh my god, what if he misses it again?" Like that's the only reason it looks like if you just didn't watch and you look, "Oh my god, McIlroy shot a -8 and like he only finished 3 strokes back of Scheffler." Yeah, well, like 3 more of those happened at the very last second. There was still no threat. It was not like last year where you had guys like neck and neck the whole way, and it was like, oh my god, like one mistake, and you could feel the pressure. There was no pressure, evidently, except on Scheffler himself. I don't know, is that pressure or is that lack of pressure? That's just like, whatever. I get 6 strokes to play with. Ying, up short. Okay, let's shoot it back. Let's shoot it high.
Yeah, I think that's what you call a sphincter tightening in the last moments. It took literally what 36, 72 holes to get there, but he did it.
Yeah. I mean, he missed the 2.5 footer, and then it was like, he just there was no more room for error.
Yeah, right.
Conceivably, if there was like he missed it and it rolled down again, I'd be like, oh my god. Like we might watch somebody literally blow a 6-stroke lead.
That would have been good
on the green at 18. Now that's exciting.
That would have been a Masters moment.
But there wasn't enough buzz. I mean, Scheffler had the chip in on 3. There was the bunker shots, right, from McIlroy and oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? Who was his partner? The back-to-back.
I don't even know.
Was it Morikawa? I think had the back-to-back bunker shots.
Yeah.
Out of the bunker. So it's like those are exciting, but that doesn't make you go look back. Those are like little moments that doesn't make you like say, "Oh, what a great day." It's cool.
Yeah.
Wasn't exciting. Honestly, the fact that I know he finished way back. God knows what. 13 over. Where was Tiger?
Way back.
Yeah, +6 on Sunday, 13 over, for the whole tournament. He didn't have a good Saturday. The fact that he was there, a guy who finished tied for 48th here, 47th. The guy who finished 47th created more buzz than the fact that you had the number 1 player in the world go and win.
Isn't that the problem with golf right now?
I guess. Yeah, true. And for me, I mean, but rightfully so. I mean, this is going to be golf's problem. It was golf's problem whenever Tiger has been hurt or stepping away for the game for personal reasons. Who fills that void? What makes golf interesting for viewers and fans? Obviously, it's a sport that could succeed probably without fans. The players competing don't care. The tournaments don't care. Like they make their money. The tour happens. It doesn't need the fan thing. But for people who want to be fans, what is there to grasp onto other than just being like, oh, I guess I'm watching somebody at their job.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the person. There's no personalities.
No, there's not, because it's all one and done guys. We saw Rory, we saw Jordan Spieth, we saw those guys do it. Dustin Johnson, same thing. But then they kind of just fizzle, and it's like middle of the pack again. And then here comes Scheffler, right? And he's going to be up there, and then he'll probably step back, and then someone else will come forward. There's no like Tiger Mickelson, there's just nothing, even like a Sergio Garcia. There's no one that's like notable, and that's kind of the problem that I had all weekend. Is it's just kind of boring once Tiger kind of got out of like it's inconceivable to think he's going to win the thing after coming back from what the car accident, which unfortunately was self-inflicted by him. But he after coming back from something like that, nobody thought he was going to actually win it, let alone play, and he's playing in it. Now, unfortunately, after he made the cut, he kind of fell back, and then for me at least, it's like my rooting interest just goes down after that. There's just no buzz after. I was like, it'd be cool to see him be in the conversation here on day 3, day 4, but he just wasn't, and that just takes it all away.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for a guy like Will Zalatoris last year, kind of comes out of nowhere in the tournament, in the Masters. Was in the conversation, finishes -3, shoots a 5 under on Sunday. But again, I mean, Scheffler was clearing away, blowing everybody away. But even still, I agree. There's just not enough buzz. And I don't know if there's a pressure for golf to have that. I know it makes it. I mean, the personalities make it for us. Part of it's probably maybe it's a branding thing. Like, I mean, how everybody's sponsored now, cognizant of their brand. Yeah. I love the Mickelsons and the Sergio Garcia, these guys, who might just, there's style. There's a style to their play, not just, okay, I am perfect technical golfer. I come out, I do my job, I hit the ball, I wear my sponsored cap, and I stay quiet. I don't say anything. I don't do anything. I am just a golf robot. And I feel like a lot of it is, that's what it is.
I mean, it's just because these athletes will make their money regardless if they win the Masters. A bunch of them will make, $800K just playing in the thing and being, number 50 overall. So it's I don't know. I mean, it's enticing to go win $1 million, but you're going to make that money anyway.
Colin in the comment section, what makes golf interesting? We ask. He says, for a select few, maybe playing it. There's no consistent phenoms, no storylines, no noise. Its excitement level hovers just below the current state of baseball. Pretty much. I mean,
although baseball's on the rise here again, I'll tell you what.
And the Masters, I mean, people mostly only tune in. I mean, probably the Masters. I think the U.S. Open draws people, but the Masters has become its own thing. It's like a Super Bowl. It's one of these big sporting events that everybody you know it.
The Masters,
a tradition like no other.
Yeah.
Hello, friends. So yeah, golf's got those same problems, but I don't think it's going to change.
Well, you want to look at the Master. I mean, just look at the PGA Tour. It's the same thing. It's kind of just, there right now.
That's what I'm saying. It's for the people who love golf. And I think there's probably, I don't know, it might be closer than we think. How many people love golf and watch Golf Channel and Golf Network and will watch the PGA Tour and follow it night and day compared to people who love baseball and follow baseball 365
no,
and
baseball
162.
Still got the edge there, yeah. I mean,
I bet it would be it's probably closer than you think, though.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I think golf is a very select sport for some. Personally, I'd rather play golf than probably watch it every Sunday. I'll watch stuff like the Masters, and I suck, but it's still fun to play, So, but regardless, I think baseball just blows it out of the water.
We got to do a 360 Sports Show golf outing. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, that'd be a disaster to film, though.
Oh no, I don't think we film it. Or maybe we get. Maybe we need a third party to come.
GoPro
and be the some GoPros.
I'll strap a GoPro to my hat.
Yeah, we could go live. We could go live. Strap the GoPro and put it on the cart, right?
With the amazing cellular signal that you get on a golf course, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, or just it's part of all of our.
If anybody wants to see 240p, they can join in.
We could find a way to make it fun. And then
it'd be fun, yeah.
So
there's no doubt about that.
Anyway, part of some Masters discussion, I know for me, is going to factor into our next segment. So let's just go ahead and get to that, and that is Hot and Not.
It's time for Hot.
Hot.
You want to talk about hot?
Hot.
Please stop doing that.
Doing what?
Continue. Go ahead.
And not.
God, is he a moron? Oh my God, he doesn't shut up.
It's so stupid.
Stupid decisions.
Dum-dums. The naughtiest knot of the year.
Oof. Suck fest. Suck sauce.
on the 360 Sports Show.
All right, hot and not, the good, the bad, up and down. Christian, I will just continue. I'll go first this time. I'm just going to continue with our conversation here because I still had hot as Tiger Woods. It was the hot for me last week, the fact that we knew he was going to maybe play, make an effort. And I find myself, even though I knew he would be playing, sitting there Thursday and actually watching him tee off and walk. I'm like, my mind is still boggled. I'm like, this is absolutely incredible. 14 months ago, this dude was in a car that went off a road down an embankment, and it's like, he might be dead. Okay, he might not have his legs. Okay, well, he might not walk again. And then it's like, you're just hoping. He himself was just grateful to be alive and to still have his faculties and be able to just go about his daily life, let alone compete as an elite and top level golfer. Obviously, he wasn't there the last day. He had a pretty good day one, which made some people go like, oh my God. Talk about, tell you this, for Scheffler, I think pretty different. If it was Tiger having a day like Rory had, and Tiger's now breathing down your throat, he probably does 8-putt the 18th and lose.
Oh, yeah.
Because Tiger's presence was palpable, and in a way, this could maybe be a knot for the Masters itself. A guy who shot 13 over and finished 47th generated more buzz than anybody else there. I still found it exciting. It was so compelling. It was, whether you love Tiger or hate Tiger, it's inspiring. I mean, the fact that he came back and won a Masters from the injury his injuries he'd already had. And now this is obviously something that was literally life-threatening. And he found a way to... He got back. He doesn't need to win. The dude was there. He wasn't in a cart. No help. A little bit of a limp, but he's walking the course. It's mind-blowing. It blew my... I don't know. My brain was constantly boggled watching it. I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing because I just didn't expect to see it again. And he had told us it might not ever happen again. So
yeah, that's why I was kind of shocked about it, because he asked me 8 months ago. I said, no, I mean, look at golf now. I mean, there's no Tiger here ever again, probably.
You asked Tiger 3 months ago, and he said he didn't think he wanted to climb Everest.
He did it.
And then he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess truly climbing it would have been winning, but he'd said Everest would have been just to get back. And he did. Crazy. So, stays on my hot list for this week.
Yeah, I'm going to good old baseball for this one, and the PitchCom device that they're using now in the MLB, which for us people that are interested in seeing how baseball can change the rules and change some things to get back to where it was, or at least change the game in year 2022, as opposed to we're watching baseball from 1940 still. So it's like the only sport that doesn't make these changes. PitchCom will change that. And about a quarter to half the teams in the MLB were using this in the first weekend of the season. And it worked. I mean, now I've completely done a 180 from what I've seen on, dude, get on the mound and pitch the ball. Just throw it. To now the batters need to get in the box and just sit there. So now we're going to have to implement the clock in future years. But this PitchCom is pretty cool. The catcher puts a glove over his knee. I know the Yankees were doing it. And that's where I saw it first. But put the glove over the knee, punch in a number, send it to the pitcher. He gets a signal and he throws the ball. Much nicer than, okay, here, there's a guy on first, guy on second. We're going to put a 2 down, shake me off. 1, nope, 3, inside, outside. And then everybody gets out and we're going to pause the game for another 5 minutes. No, this kind of speeds up the pitcher. Now it's about getting the hitters. A couple different situations. The batters thought they were getting quick pitched and starting to complain about that. So it's going to take some getting used to in terms of, I would say, the batters mainly. But at the same time, who needs to get out, scratch their butt, fix their gloves, get back in, and then hit? Just stay in the box. Yeah. So now I'm kind of doing a 180 on it, but I think the PitchCom is cool. And I I like the pace that these pitchers are. Severino for the Yankees. That's the one I mainly watched it with. And they're getting the ball, getting the signal, and they're just throwing the ball.
Wild concept, right?
Yeah. Imagine changing the rules in 2022.
Man. All right. Now to the knot. I know we've talked about this, and now I can really truly put it on the knot list. The Los Angeles Lakers paying $45 million in luxury tax, $160-something million in salary to LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook to finish 11th and 31 games back of first place and miss the playoffs.
You're missing something today, though, right? The Lakers should be on the hot list because they've just finished paying Luol Deng, if I saw it right. So it's a good day to be a Lakers fan.
Yeah. Ooh, the future's bright. Now that we're from underneath of that Luol Deng contract, which was holding us back.
I mean, that feels like it was like 2 centuries ago that he played.
Yeah. That was almost like that was going to get to Bobby Bonilla territory.
That's fantastic. I saw that, and I was just like, okay, the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. They finished 11th. Absolute disaster. Nobody wants to answer any questions. Westbrook might be traded. The coach is fired. And they just paid off Luol Deng's contract. What a day.
Well, I love that, too. This morning, it's like, it's reported that, it has been the final day coached for, I'm now having a brain fart. Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel has coached his last game. He'll be informed later today. It's like, what? As if he's not watching the news.
Why don't you inform him?
Why don't you pick up the phone?
Now.
Frank, by the way, I'm about to report that you're fired. You're going to hear from the Lakers themselves later today. Yeah. That could go on the not list as well. Putting out a press release that he's, the news media is like, he's coached his last game. He'll be informed later today. What? Usually you inform the coach and then you push out to the media. You don't tell the media first. Really weird. But yeah, anyway, the absolute glorious dumpster fire that is the Los Angeles Lakers deserves a running seat, a standing seat on the not list. But
who got the most knots this NBA season? It might have been the Lakers,
probably, or Westbrook himself.
Close
again.
Or Westbrook.
Some a Reddit user somewhere has been keeping track for us. We'll have to get
true.
them, or somewhere on the Twitch stream maybe.
Yeah,
that
that's
has been keeping track, along with whether or not we're staying properly hydrated here on the show.
Yeah. Drink your water.
Drink your water.
Right.
You're not, Christian.
I'm going back to the Masters. I just remembered this, and I'm so glad I did. Mr. Cameron Smith, hole 12. He steps up there. This is just one tweet to sum it up, and then I'll explain what happened. Cam Smith birdies 11, one of just a few all week to keep within striking distance of Scheffler. Steps to T12, feeling it and ready to pounce. Walks off the green with a triple and 6 shots back. 15 minutes later, he's 6 shots back. This guy steps up to hole 12. He's there. He's like a couple strokes within. And steps up to 12. First shot, right in the water. Then he takes it out, drops it, and hits it about 200 feet over the hole. And then he hits it the other way, and it's way over again. Just absolutely speeds right past. And I'm just watching this, and I'm like, this is just the best. This is just the best hole that I've seen this weekend. This makes it fun for me. Watching disasters like this, where a guy just he just can't get out of his own way.
You want the Schadenfreude, Christian.
So
you love to watch other people suffering.
I mean, it's just, I mean, at that point, I was just bored. So why not?
Bring on the chaos.
Yeah. So, I mean, he steps up to hole 12 with like 2 strokes back, I think. He's right there. And he just birdied. And then right in the pond, the first one. I was like, oh, here we go. This guy's going to do it now. And then the next shot, at least like 40 yards over the hole. Yeah, it was great. I mean, that's my not of the week. I mean, I think that sums up the Masters, if ever there was a sum up.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we watch to see people compete at a high level, but every now and again, seeing those, it does make you appreciate that the line between all-world pro golfer and
Yeah.
looking like you've just picked up a club for the first time is very thin. Very thin. Now, I can't ever... It only goes one way. I can't ever, without the work being put in, look like a pro golfer. It's never going to happen. But it's very easy for me to look totally inept. It comes very naturally in the game of golf. And to see pros experience that every now and again, guys just have those complete blow-ups, because it can happen in that sport. It's wonderful.
It makes me feel better about my suckage on the golf course watching a pro do what I would do every hole. So I mean, it just makes me feel like, right
Except
there.
you would
I'm
do
right
it and feel
there.
good about it. Like, oh my God, 9 shots over on
mean-
it? Yeah.
I mean, if I'm getting there in 9, I'm in pretty good shape, to be honest. So
It's for me, I play, it's like, did I leave the course with the same amount of balls that I brought to the course? Right?
yeah. Chances are no.
Depends on if there's nobody playing up behind you, you have a chance to go ferret around through the grass. And
Definitely, yeah.
I played
I'm going.
I played in Virginia a few years ago, and there was a dried out creek bed that must have been normally raging, or there was in a drought. Me and my buddy play up. We're like, this thing's completely bone dry, and there was like 100 balls down there. We're like, jackpot!
Hey, I'll take that any day of the week. And then you get some of the good ones. You find a good one, like a Nike ball or something like that.
Yeah. I had some weird neon ball I found that then shattered on the next. I think I've been sitting it down there for a while.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I said, does this stroke count? My buddy's like, well, considering I don't know where you would drop, because part of the ball's there and there and there and there and there. Yeah, go ahead. Tee again. So, anywho. Moving on. This news broke Saturday morning. Absolutely just crazy news. I'm sure you've all heard by now. But Dwayne Haskins passed away over the weekend, hit by a dump truck, if I'm not mistaken. Just in Florida, absolutely just bombshell news. Incredibly tragic for a guy that was, was not able to live up to his hype coming out, but was like gonna get a chance in Pittsburgh. And then of all things in like today's day and age, now I don't know. Have you seen any of the further reporting, Christian? I've heard mixed things. He was like walking on a highway,
interstate or something. Yeah, that's what I heard too. But
so I have no idea what the circumstances were of that. Obviously, if that's the case, not a good situation to be putting yourself in. But either way, just sad
Terrible.
story.
Yeah.
Incredibly tragic. I mean, the kid, he's what, was 24, maybe gonna be 25.
24. Yeah, he's about to be 25. Yeah.
So yeah,
You want to take the football out of it. I mean, he didn't. We saw the Adam Schefter tweet. I'm sure everybody saw that, right? I mean, he obviously not thinking about what he's tweeting. Like you always, everybody's rushed to get first on something. Break this news always comes out, and then it looks bad. Mentioning how he hasn't really made it at the NFL, and the guy just passed away. His family, you know what I mean? Like maybe someone's finding out just now, his family or something. It's just not a good look for like a major sports reporter like that. But just take the sports out of it. I mean, he's still a human being. I mean, it's still tragic either way, right? Now he's in the limelight because of, his football career and, the potential there, obviously, especially with Pittsburgh now. There we all know their quarterback situation. So to just have that happen is just, it's gut-wrenching.
Yeah, I mean, the Schefter thing, he tweets, he included unnecessary commentary in reporting the news. Like, yes, it's factual. He struggled to catch on and didn't live up to his hype and expectations. And but when you're announcing the dude's death, you don't need to have that in there.
Yeah.
Like, there's a time and a place to have, which is for us 2 days after the fact now. Like, we can kind of include a little bit of that just in talking about Dwayne Haskins and his career. only to the pretext to say that like it's sad because it like was like, look at he was gonna get a shot. There's
And he's young, and he's
you know, an opportunity to turn it around. He was down there practicing with teammates. So like that's the context in which I want to bring it up, is that it looked like this could have been one of those like comeback stories. But when you're initially tweeting out like, "Hey, this happened," like just say that it happened, dude.
You can say Steelers quarterback or something like that, but like to add in like to basically say the dude sucks as a quarterback and he just passed away, like it's just not a good look. Like just you gotta use your head on stuff like that, especially to break initial news like that. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not calling for Schefter to get fired. I know how we are in today's day, but like at the same time, admit the mistake, dude. Like you obviously F that up. I mean, that's pretty clear. Everybody knows.
I mean, listen, his own actions will tell you the dude deleted the tweet. When you delete the tweet, you know you did you effed up.
Yeah.
Nick in the comment section says, "Not of the year, Adam Schefter." So he says he had run out of gas and was trying to cross the road for some reason, and a dump truck hit him. Yeah, that's what the latest thing. This is actually from CNN.
Yeah.
This is all it says. This was earlier today. Haskins was trying to cross Interstate 595's westbound lanes. Now, listen, I think we've all driven or been on interstate highways. Those are not things that are easy to cross.
Yeah.
So that is quite literally taking your life in your own hands. It's just it blows my mind. I mean, call someone. I don't know. It unfortunate.
Yeah.
Really, really tragic and unfortunate. Yeah, hit by a dump truck. I mean, these are things you'd hear about. You'd think to hear in the newspaper, like in 18 something, like man run over by carriage. Like people don't get hit by dump trucks.
I know. Yeah.
I think the initial report said automobile, and it's like a dump truck is not an automobile. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a little bit. Yeah,
that is a piece of heavy machinery.
Yeah.
Nick also says Schefter has since apologized and even did a tribute to him on Twitter. Yeah, I mean you have to course correct.
Do something. Yeah, obviously.
And obviously, like, listen, nobody's going to sugarcoat it. It's not like we're suddenly going to turn Dwayne Haskins into a Hall of Famer, but I was going to be excited to see what he could do with Pittsburgh this year. Now, was it only a month ago, 4 weeks ago, they signed him. And it's like, is this guy the answer? I don't know, but it could be fun to watch. He'll actually have some talent to really work with. So, I don't know. And a change of scenery, like being the top pick, it's some guys aren't built for that. And the fact that he was still in the league, I think if he really didn't have any sort of work ethic, I think he wouldn't even been given a contract. He wouldn't probably even still been around. So a guy who's like committed to trying to make it work, it would seem. So sad. So, anywho, we just had to do our give our 2 cents on that whole situation. Another mind-blowing thing, Christian. The Boston Celtics are the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I know this is not surprising if you've been watching for the last like 2 months. But at the midpoint of the year, they were below 500.
Yeah.
And they finish 51-21.
I think they were 23-24.
51-31, sorry.
Yeah, 51-31, but they were like 23-24, I want to say, back in like January. Just wild.
And you're the number 2 seed. Now I know they were very close to being like the 4 seed, maybe even the 5 seed. If things really went sideways.
But they were also in the play-in tournament in January and February. So
because of tiebreakers and how bunched up things were in the East. But either way, the number 2 seed. Nick already says it. Ime Udoka, Coach of the Year. I think so.
Grizzlies.
You shake your head. No. Go.
Yeah, Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
I mean, yeah.
Hold on. No. Before you're googling it, who is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Taylor Jenkins. I just saw him yesterday. I don't know his name, but I mean, obviously that team, even without John Moran, has like 56 wins on the year. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So obviously Jenkins is going to get it. And I think he should, but I think Ime is right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Monty Williams is also in the conversation out in Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before. what's incredible about this Celtics turnaround is that they did it without this, like, let's blow up the roster, let's trade Jalen or Jason, like it's not working, total shakeup, or fire the coach. Without one of those, like, big earth-shattering changes, it was just get healthy and guys playing hard.
Maybe
get
Schroeder out of here.
Yeah, but I mean, usually it's not just subtracting. You don't just subtract your second point guard.
They got Daniel Tice. What are you talking about?
You don't just subtract role players and suddenly go from 500 to the best team in the conference, like, or one of the best teams in the conference, or in the NBA.
Also, they were playing well before Schroeder and Josh Richardson got traded, so it wasn't even that. I mean, you can't even equate it to that. It was Tatum and Brown working together, finally, and clicking. Smart kind of getting out of the way and doing his point guard defense. He should be defensive.
Which,
player
not
of the
having
year.
Schroeder around really allows him to
100%.
be the point guard.
It also let Peyton Pritchard get more minutes, and I think he's a decent player when he's out there getting minutes. He can certainly shoot it. So all those things combined. But I mean, right, it's the top two, along with Robert Williams' emergence, as well as Smart kind of having a defined role and really, I want to say, owning that role, because I mean, I think he's been. I think this is a career half of a year for Smart. I think he's been as good as he's ever been.
Yeah. Still, normally you would say, like, hey, get healthy and just playing hard. Like, hey, that coaches say that that would solve 90% of your problems. How often do you see it happen? A team that's with all that talent, 500 at the break, you say, like, without some big shakeup, they're just gonna limp along. That's what always happens at the pro level. And instead, these guys turned a corner internally, and it's been incredible. Now, a lot was made out of yesterday. Oh, should you tank it and try and get the Bulls in the first round? But you could wind up with Toronto and all these. Instead, what I was in favor of, and what Ime Udoka opted with, was, nah, we're gonna do us. We're gonna play our best ball, and we're gonna let the chips fall where they may. Which is effectively saying, because everybody was saying, you want to avoid. Oh, you don't want to play Brooklyn. Don't want to play Brooklyn. Brooklyn was almost not in the playoffs and had to, like, win a bunch of games down the stretch to make the play-in tournament. And guess what? If you actually want to go win a championship, you're going to have to play good teams. So how about you instill confidence and say, we're not afraid of them? Which has kind of been the attitude, like, reflecting the attitude of their best player, who Udoka has tried to get out of Tatum, this, like, oh, I'm boys and brothers with all these guys. Like, no, that's the enemy. Don't be friends with them.
Be better.
Like, be better than them. It's time for you to take it to them. And you be the alpha. And I'm glad they went after it yesterday. Now, God forbid if, like, Tatum or Brown got hurt in that game, you'd say, coach of the year, no, Udoka should be fired. I think you serve yourself. It's like you mess with the game messes back. They decided to just play it out, and they still got their rest because the Celtics were, like, up by 30-something points again.
They decided to play it out yesterday. Milwaukee, there's a question mark on that one.
I think they were hedging that night. I think because they rest Tatum, they rest Horford. Al Horford. That's like it's like it's like you're drafting. You don't realize it's the wrong. Not Al Horford. It's Al Horford. Like, oh no, who did I pick?
That's a mistake.
No, he plays for the Utah Stampede. He's a G League player. Anywho, I like it. I like going for it. I just think it brings the right attitude. And hey, if they have to play Brooklyn, they play Brooklyn. And you know what? I think they're ready. I'd rather that than be, like, scared. Let's play scared and try and avoid people. Because then you wind up, be careful what you wish for. You have to play a spunky, hard-nosed, stupid, just like they never die Toronto team. And Nick Nurse, who I hate that guy. It's like, that team just has something on the Celtics. And I'd
also,
be like,
the vaccination status
and the vaccination
and all that other
stuff. It's like,
yeah.
You try to avoid one thing, you'll get something twice as bad. So you know what? Who cares? Let the chips fall where they may. I was
also,
happy about
people
it.
are like, now, I do admit they probably will, but people are acting like Brooklyn is just a lock to get that seed and play Boston. if they lose to Cleveland and then win the next game, they get the Miami Heat. So, look, I said from day one they should go for it and get home. If you can get home court in 2 rounds, if you're the Celtics, you absolutely do it. That is a tough place to play here. And if I'm playing Milwaukee as Boston, I want to be in Boston.
Yep.
That's a huge, huge factor. Their road is going to be a little bit tougher if Brooklyn wins. I mean, it's going to be Brooklyn and then probably the Bucks. So that is pretty tough. I mean, that's a lot of games that's probably going to be played. And you're without Robert Williams. So I would feel a lot better about the Nets series if Williams was healthy. Without him, how big of a factor is it? I don't know. I think he makes them really, really good defensively. I think they're pretty good without him, but I think he makes them he just elevates you to that great level. But at the same time, I still wanted to go for it. Now, I thought they were kind of tanking it away at Milwaukee, I'll be honest. I mean, they did go out there and play the game and almost win it. But at the same time, I don't know if they changed their tune against the Grizzlies or whatnot, whatever the situation was.
I think the picture was just more clear at that point. It was like, win, and this is it. Lose, and there's other things, but we don't care. We're hoping not to lose.
Maybe.
So
yeah, but either way, you can lock up the 2 seed and have 2. You know, if Miami gets knocked off, you're the home team if you win. So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm all for home court, especially in the NBA. I think it matters more than any other sport in that league. So here you go. Whoever you get, you should be beating. In my opinion, I think the Celtics should beat whoever they get, whether it's Brooklyn or Cleveland, either one. They should beat either of those teams in 7 games. Now, Brooklyn is obviously a toss-up. Okay, so they can obviously come through if Durant plays out of his mind and Kyrie comes in here and beats you, so what? You got beat by the best player in the world. But if you're drafting the series, I think I'm hedging Tatum over Kyrie. So it's probably Durant, Tatum, 1 and 2. So those 2 guys are huge in the series.
Yeah. Colin in the comment section, super proud of the team, the Celtics, for the second half of the season, especially when being down 3 of their top 4 players against the Bucks and almost winning the damn thing with pure effort. And that's the thing is, I know I've said it, to see a team that literally looked like they were just coasting at times and playing for a half and then blowing leads, and there was just something, it's like, oh God, something nasty is still festering here. And it ain't Brad Stevens' fault anymore. Not Kyrie, it's not Brad, like, what is it? And that, when you turn the corner and flip that switch and, like, your best players are playing a certain way, it's almost like that momentum and that it trickles down to the point where you've got guys like, you have Peyton Pritchard and Nesmith and Luke Cornett running around against the Milwaukee Bucks making play. Daniel Tyson, I think he dropped 30 points. Like,
Sam
Hauser, like, it becomes infectious with good teams that there's this belief like, oh, I'm good too, we can win, and just the trying hard thing. And that's the fact that game, I think that'll be a game you'll come back to and think about and be like, in a playoff series where it could be one of those guys who got those minutes and had that game and stays ready and stays hungry. Who knows? A guy like Hauser could be important in a playoff series at some point. If you win a championship, there's always games where there's an unsung hero that comes out of nowhere somewhere to have a big game or make a clutch shot. And don't know who it'll be for the Celtics, but could be one of those guys. Peyton Pritchard. I mean, like you said, Schroeder being gone really allowed him to flourish again.
Gain confidence as well.
When it looked like he had hit that, like, sophomore slump, and what kind of year is it going to be? So, the play-in games start tomorrow. You've got the Cavs and the Nets at 7, Clippers, Timberwolves at 9:30. I'll have to see how the rest of the matchups shake out. Hornets and Hawks, Spurs and Pelicans on Wednesday. And then obviously there's games you don't know who's playing who after those results.
I mean, by next week we'll have a good, indication of where things are going to play out.
But if I'm picking it right now, for the East, I'm willing to bet that I think it stays Nets Cavs. I think the Nets beat the Cavs. I think the Hornets beat the Hawks, and then the Cavs beat the Hornets to make it in the East. And on the Western side, honestly, the Timberwolves, the fact that they climbed up to where they are is very impressive. So I don't know. I haven't watched enough of the Clippers to really know like what kind of season they have. And I guess they won their last 5.
Paul George is back, so that helps.
Paul George is back. I feel like that's a complete crapshoot. Timberwolves, Clippers, Pelicans, Spurs. Man, is there any word? I mean, is this the last run for Greg Popovich? I mean, I'm wondering like how much longer. He's 73. I don't know. I don't know how much further. I mean, that team I don't feel like is close to a championship. Like at this point, I feel like is what Greg Popovich is doing now. This could be our transition. Is what Greg Popovich is doing right now with the Spurs essentially what we're gonna see with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, where it's like championship days are done. But I'm just having fun tinkering and building nice little basketball teams that I like.
No, because I think the difference that you're missing is that Popovich will still make the playoffs and Bill Belichick will not. So,
true, maybe, but anyway, let's move along. Major League Baseball is back. Christian, you seem to be excited by baseball. Are you? Are you excited with this start?
As a Red Sox fan, not really, because they kind of stink. But
blow game 1, it's like okay, that sets a bad tone.
I did really like the pitch com, so I'm excited for the future more than I have been in a long time. I will say that. Am I excited to watch 162 games? Hell no, I'm not doing that. But the pitch com thing has my interest. The pitch clock that might be coming has my interest. And this, obviously things like putting a guy on second base in extra innings, that is also, I think, in the best interest of the game. Don't get me wrong. I think the Yankees Red Sox games average 4 hours again. That's just what it is. Those two teams literally just cannot have a game within like 3 hours. But this season, I want to see some of the things that they're doing. Future seasons, I will be absolutely more excited for, because this PitchCom device technology is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. I think there's a lot more coming, and I think the willingness kind of teams to do this and the players is a good sign for things to come, because they'd never really shown this much willingness to evolve the game, so to speak, from where it was in 1912 as opposed to 104 years later. So
Colin in the comment section says, give me the pitch clock, do it. Nick also says, I think the runner on second rule is away after this year. Maybe,
probably, but we'll see.
But if it's a huge success, stuff just falling off my desk. But if it's a huge success, I mean, God, it would be baseball, like baseball, to just be like, people love this, but it's not pure, and so we're gonna take it away. Colin says, I will watch 40 games, as opposed to none.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
that is way more
than
games than I mean, sit down physically. Don't watch end to end or beginning to end many games in an entire season.
No.
There's big games that come up, a big series, usually Red Sox Yankee games, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna watch the whole thing. Playoff games, obviously, you're glued to every pitch. But the regular season, it's a lot. You're following along. You're keeping tabs. It's on the radio at the beach or in the car. You check the standings the next day. You kind of see how the team's doing. It's still a tough sport to engage that much. And I think even if the game was fascinating, if football played 100 games, I think you'd kind of run into the same problem. You just can't keep up with it. So it's Anybody that watches all 162 games from beginning to end, no job.
They're guaranteed sleep for half of them.
Yeah. So they start a series with Detroit tomorrow. The Red Sox do. No Trevor Story, no Bobby Dahlbeck.
They started the series today, actually. And
started today.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Trevor Story though here at the start?
Well, he went 0 for 4 in game 1, not off to a hot start, and then he's been sick for the rest. So who the hell knows? I just thought it was important. Like, everybody's hyped up, right? Everybody's hyped up for Trevor Story. He's going to bump the Red Sox up to $240 million payroll. They should be in it now. They're going to be really tough to play against because their bats are going to be on fire, and everybody can hit from 2 to like 7, which I don't disagree with. They haven't so far, and Story hasn't been in the lineup.
I think this year for the Red Sox, I almost feel like I can't get too excited about anybody or anything around it because I'm nervous. This is really kind of like a fulcrum point for Chaim Bloom. Like, what are you going to do with Xander Bogaerts? And what are you going to do with Rafael Devers? Now, if you want to be a championship team and compete, you do not get rid of those guys. You keep them here, you pay them, and you just keep adding pieces to the team because you're a big market team, you have the money, and you keep investing. I'm worried that he might look at it and say, like, what a great asset I have in Rafael Devers. I could get 10 prospects for him. And now you're just playing this, a revolving door of groom a guy, bring him up, trade him.
Yeah, it has Mookie Betts written all over it right now.
And so I'm really leery of that, and I that's why I have a tough time because I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna pick one of the guys? I'm fine if you pick Devers and say Devers is our piece, who we're gonna pay him top dollar, and we'll find undervalued guys to pay and put around him. That's fine. That's kind of what that. But that's better than getting rid of both of them. That's
sure, but I don't like what that team did.
Move. That's what this ownership group has done with Liverpool, right? That's their approach they've taken. Like, pay one guy and try and find value everywhere else. Maybe you overpay for some guy, but he's undervalued, so you're paying less in the long run.
Yeah, it's just another bad look though with Bogaerts. He's been here a long time, so you're playing with fire on that one.
I know.
If Devers comes to you and says, "I'm not playing without Bogaerts," then you're screwed. So make no mistake, the Red Sox can pay both of them. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking they can't. I mean, it's
will they?
Red Sox? No, they won't. But no, because we've seen that. And look, Mr. Robot he is building the farm system. They have top 10 farm system in the league probably now. And everybody wants to talk about Meyer. We don't know if he can play yet. So that's a long shot just saying, oh yeah, all the prospects will come up and they'll be really good, really great. Not so sure about that.
Yeah. Nick in the comment section, if you had to get rid of one of them, I'm taking Devers over Bogey any day. Well, yeah, I mean, he's younger, is more production, but
you can probably DH down the line as well.
Man.
It's bad luck.
That's all I'm saying. You know, I know there's a lot of people excited for what this team can be, and I'm really concerned that midway through the year, it's going to be one of these like, hey, they're playing really well, and hey, now's the time to trade Bogaerts, and you go from being like a team that's like in contention-ish to like thinking you could just remove a guy that's been like a cornerstone and everybody else is just going to be hunky-dory and you blow up your season because of it.
Yeah.
That's my big-time concern with this team. So I'm going to not get too high. And because I'm not going to get too high, I'm not going to get too low over this team either. I'm not going to know what they're capable of doing until after the trade deadline. And because that has a lot to do with who's running the team and the direction they're going to take. So, last thing here to kind of close things out as we head down the stretch with the NHL season. The Bruins, they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, a little shorthanded. They beat the Lightning. Then they lose to Washington. I feel like the Bruins are kind of, at this point, it's like, can the season end and can they stay healthy, please?
Yeah, that's the most important thing now. I mean, you look at the standings, they're right there with Tampa, and they're probably going to be the rest of the way. just in terms of points. I mean, they're 1 back of Tampa, 5 back of, and then Florida is way out. But Toronto has kind of stretched their point lead, point total past, both Tampa and I think they're going to be hard to catch. I do. At least in the regular season, in the playoffs they choke. But for now, I think for me, it's all about getting Pasternak and Lindholm back. You just got Lindholm and looked really good with McAvoy, and then he goes down. Pasternak, obviously, I mean, their power play has been inept since he's gone down, and you can just see it on that line. McLaughlin is what he is. He's not a second line right winger. And Pasternak is. Pasternak is a huge piece of this team. If they don't have him, I don't like your chances because the goal scoring has gone down. The power play stinks. So I don't know. In my opinion, I think you get healthy here. Don't make those guys come back for no reason here. You're going to have a tough opponent regardless. So not leapfrogging Tampa is not going to matter all that much. I mean, it might change the road a little bit. I think if you could avoid Carolina, then you have a shot because Carolina has absolutely dusted the Bruins like 3 or 4 games this year. But get healthy. You're already pretty much in the postseason. Not quite, but a lot of teams are already out of it. So just stay within the playoffs and get there healthy. Get Lindholm and Pasternak back. Without those two guys, you're screwed.
Yep. I wanted to bring something up about the NHL. Did you see Sidney Crosby's absolute sucker punch in the face of Dowd last night against the Capitals? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I saw Malkin. Are you talking about Malkin?
No. So Malkin is going to have like a whole hearing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all about this. Let me try and pull this up. Pull this up here.
Malkin was the talk of the town. I miss Crosby.
Yeah. Right in the middle of the play. It's just go full screen. Let me get rid of our. So he just boom. Like talk about how blatant. Now he got a 2-minute penalty, but I'm sorry. That should be of all the things like we supplementally disciplined for.
The hell.
You just blast a guy with the left hook across the face. Like,
you think Crosby is in with the league a little bit?
That's gotta be
superstar status. Extra. Oh, if that's like.
Oh, if that was Marchand, he'd be strung up outside the stadium.
Yeah. Banned for the year.
Marchand would be in front of a firing squad right now. Just brutal. Now it's awesome. I think it's great.
Yeah,
but
it is. Yeah.
But you're gonna do that. We're all gonna cheer. Take your 2-minute minor, and then accept like a 3-game suspension from the league because it's one thing to get into it with a guy who's also trying to start something after a play, and in the middle of the play just being like, you know what, I'm not a hockey player anymore. Wah!
Yeah. To be honest, I'm kind of happy he did it. I mean, look, the Capitals are one of those teams that kind of stays right on the line most of the time.
True.
So sometimes you just need to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
But is
Dowd really one of those dirty guys though?
I think they're all kind of.
They're all together.
Those Capitals, man, I tell you, they get dirtier by the day. I didn't know Orlov was cheap, and then he boarded someone the other day. I don't know. Every time I watch them, they kind of just piss me off. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tom Wilson running around like a jackass. It's just not great.
Yeah. So
punch him in the face.
Why not? See what happens.
No suspension. 2 minutes to punch a guy in the face. I'll take that. You can pay me Sidney Crosby money, and I'll do that.
Sidney Crosby has been expelled though from the Academy, the Actors Guild Academy, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no question about that.
And he is an actor. So
that's for sure.
Anywho, Christian, any other thoughts, notes, or comments here before we close out the show?
I am good if you are. We're getting ready for playoffs here, and obviously, most notably, hockey and basketball. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll be right there, sitting on the doorstep. And those are 2 of the most exciting playoff runs in all of professional sports. So get excited for that.
I do want to check. Will we have the first round of the. Let me see the NBA schedule.
Probably will already be started.
That's what I want to see.
I think it's the Celtics will play Sunday. I want to say so.
See if anything is set Friday.
Sunday.
East 8th seed game. Yes. Sunday. Game 1. Someone to be determined at Boston. So we will have one game in the books when we next
Celtics Nets.
take to the airways. I'll tell you what, though. I say bring on the Nets. And, like, I think you need to, like, you know, it'd be good for Ime, it'd be good for Tatum Brown to, like, beat legit stars like that. However,
You might get saged again. We don't know.
the dark side of that proposition is that if you lose that series,
Not great.
yeah. It'd be one thing if you were the 7 seed playing the Nets and you make it a series and lose. Hey, you know what? It's respectable. No more. Nope. You have to beat that team. If you play them in the first round, you must beat them because now you are the top seed. You're the ones playing with house money.
Brooklyn's gonna be a tough out.
Yeah. So, anywho, we'll see. One game will be in the books and we'll get to complain about it next Monday. So, that'll do it for us here. I'm Andrew Pizzelli. He's Christian Lauber. Have a good night, everybody.
See you later.